talk about changing the world, when we talk about actually creating a space for liberation for more and more people, people need to find ways in terms of how that actually can look for them. And it could be as simple as like branding that represents a new way of thinking about aesthetics. And it could be creating tools and toolkits. I grew up in a Nigerian household, and Louisiana in itself is kind of a unique place within America as well. The fact that I was in between so many different cultures, I started to see the plurality of the way that humans can exist in the world. I had no idea that industrial design was a thing, and when I heard about that field, that's when I started to look into what it would be like to design medical devices. And that's what really brought me to ArtCenter, and to translate a lot of those ideas or those concepts into physical and tangible elements that people engaged with. While I was at IBM, I was working on a lot of automation and AI tools and AI products. I started to really see like this new frontier of technology and how the lens of humanity can easily be lost in the development of it. And that's where I started to develop some of these ideas that are represented in Design to Divest. Design to Divest kind of started after the killing of George Floyd. People were upset about how the institutions that they gave so much power to and they gave so much trust to were not acting in their best interest. When it comes to oppression, it needs physical spaces, it needs physical objects to facilitate it. Anything that you design is going to impact society in one way or another. How do we start to include different cultural perspectives and ideologies into the making of our lived experience? While I was at Netflix, I worked on the globalization team, and we were looking to bring Netflix to more and more cultures, doing the localization as well as the globalization work, so the dubbing and the subtitling. And in that, it was just really understanding how can we translate different cultural nuances to where that other people had access to it, accounting for the nuance of the cultural dynamics of the language that's actually being utilized. When we think about XQ, we're trying to reimagine high school education. It hasn't been innovated on in hundreds of years. You know, we have electric cars now, but we still go into a classroom and it looks the exact same way that it has 100 years ago. It hasn't kept up with the pace of change, of innovation now. It doesn't account for the different learning types, also the different cultural perspectives that come into the classroom. And to scale that impact, that's where I was brought in as help to start to build the products and the tools that help more and more teachers access the type of learning and redesign and frameworks that we've been developing to help create richer and more engaging learning experiences for students. A lot of things that I learned in Grad ID were about how do you start to take large strategic ideas and then create an experience around them that then people can start to be inspired by, but actually understand what is possible. At ArtCenter, the projects that I did to constantly learn, iterate, and take in feedback and improve that, it's the same way that I'm approaching all of the work that I'm doing. I think I've always wanted to do work that was going to be impactful to people in a meaningful way.